What's up, everyone? Immediately sick. How everyone is doing today? My name is Nuno. Welcome back. I know today's a little bit early for some of you. Indeed, I started a little bit early today because I do have some stuff to do at night. So I kind of decided to start a little bit early. I hope you guys don't mind how everyone is doing today. Rack, nice to see you. Maltroy, nice to see you. Brian, nice to see you. Ajax, nice to see you as well. How everyone is feeling today. Today we are back to some Pokeyo development. In case you don't know, this is what Pokeyo is about. Bam Bam Boom is an asynchronous framework for PHP, basically an API that allows you to use asynchronous code. I'm super excited about this project. I've been working on this for the last 3 live streams, and today hopefully I will do some sort of alpha release if I can. So tomorrow I can actually start implementing this framework on PEST 4 for some performance improvements. Jermark, thank you so much for subscription tier 1. I really appreciate your support. You are absolutely awesome, all right? So that being said, let's jump immediately into work. I hope the sound is okay, the music is okay, and everything is fantastic with you all. And let's get started on this stuff, okay? So the last stream we ended with literally almost having Pokeyo done, okay? Which is pretty cool. And since then, we actually got a new logo. This is the new logo, chat. What do you guys think about this logo? What do you think about this? I think the logo is fantastic, and apparently has some sort of night mode support. So if I click on artwork, I do have the night mode version, okay, and we have equally the light version of it. I like both. I think both are fantastic. Let me know what do you think on the chat. All right. That being said, before we start into this, I kind of want to remind everyone, including myself, what exactly Pokeyo is about. And then we jump into some pull request reviews, because there is a lot of stuff to cover today, all right? So let's move here into PHP Storm, and let's remind ourselves a little bit what Pokeyo is about. I'm going to start as well by increasing the font a little bit, because it's undeniably too small for me. So let's go into 23, perhaps? Yeah, 1,000 times better. So Pokeyo is this asynchronous API for PHP, and sometimes you may have code which is slow, and let's say, for example, a task 1, and task 1 might be something that takes forever. Okay, so if I have, for example, task 1, which is a function, and this function sleeps for example 2 seconds before printing something like task completed. Even if I have a task 2, which is kind of similar, I kind of expect that when I call these 2 tasks, I expect this stuff to take like 4 seconds. So if I have something like start equals to micro time through, and I have equally an end, and if I sum both, blah, 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 this should take about exactly 4 seconds. So which is pretty cool. 4 seconds is what I would expect. However, if I were to use Pokeyo, I expect this stuff to take way less time. So I'm going to asynchronously delay this function or defer this function. And then, if I await for both results, this should take about 2 seconds only. Okay? So let's type PHP example, and I should have only 2 seconds here. Here we go. So, twice faster, which is awesome, I think. Caleb Land, what's up, dude? Nice to see you. How you doing? Jason McQuarrie, how you doing? More packages, that's right, Jason McQuarrie. Mohamed, how you doing? Nice to see you. Ibrahim is asking if AI will likely replace backend or front-end developers. I think AI won't replace any of those positions. It will effectively change the way we work. So you probably are going to spend a lot less time coding, but doing software engineering instead, which is a little bit more fun, I think. So that's actually very good news, okay? Steno983, what's up, dude? Nice to see you. I know, chat, typically I don't stream so early, but today we are definitely doing that, so we can actually get some stuff done with Pokeyo before tomorrow I actually start implementing Pokeyo on PEST 4 release. And one more package starting with P, indeed. You're welcome, Ibrigi. Nice to see you, man. Miltroy is saying, I enjoy using Junie today. Good experience with it so far. Yeah, Junie is awesome, man. I'm super into it already. Honestly, using Junie for my agent vibe coding situation, it really just works. Okay, chat? All right, there's a few things we want to cover today. One of them is the fact that I want to allow people to use a then function or a then callback. So basically, when this gets executed, I want to kind of have a then callback, which gets executed after this task, okay? And I kind of asked people to do a pull request about this, and I do think that Constantine kind of made a pull request, which implements then, the catch, and the finally, which is exactly what I wanted, okay? So let's review this pull request and see how it goes. So the pull request comes from Constantine. He's already one of the developers of PackPHP, one of the projects we started here, all of us together, and Constantine is equally contributing into Pokeyo. I told you guys this, all my projects are open for outside contributions. So if you want to start with open source, if you want to start contributing to some of the tools you see out there, you can literally contribute to Pokeyo as well. So Pokeyo is fully open source, and you are free to contribute to this project. There is easy tasks like documentation, writing tests, or even having some small methods like this one, call it then. Seth Copas, thank you so much for the subscription through Prime. I really appreciate your support. EJOL, thank you so much for the Pokeyo. Let's go. Sam Lini is saying, I'm working on Promise Any in all-in race. Well, dude, thank you. That's actually a very good idea. I'm curious how exactly are you going to implement that, because so far we don't have any class which allows you to have static functions on it, but I'm very curious to see that. Aries, what's up, dude? Nice to see you. Oh, thank you so much. Hopefully Pokeyo will kind of make past 4 much faster, but let's see how it goes, okay? Set the Copas, you are first-time chat. That being said, if you don't know me, my name is Nuno Maduro, PHP and Laravel developer, streaming pretty much 3 times a week. You can also follow me on my YouTube channel if you want to. I'm publishing videos every now and then. Hutul, what's up? Nice to see you, man. Okay, let's jump into this and see how exactly Constantine have implemented the then function. So Constantine started by kind of writing documentation. This is actually perfect. So similar to other promise libraries, Pokeyo allows you to chain methods to the promise like then, catch, etc. The then method will be called when the promise resolves successfully, and it accepts a closure that will receive the resolved value as its first argument. So you call a promise with async 1 plus 2, and then you might chain it then, which will have the result, and you can mutate the result by sum 2, for example. And obviously, if you multiply by 2, we'll have a result of 10 at the end. So one question I have immediately is, when exactly this then will be executed? Will be executed on the parent process, or will be equally executed asynchronously? That's one of the questions I have to Constantine on this pull request. Same goes with the finally and with the catch, to be fair. So Constantine kind of have mutated the promise class by added the then property, which is an array of closures. This is not bad. And I do see that Constantine have equally made sure that all those callbacks are kind of generic available, which is pretty cool. The catch may return void or null, interesting, and the finally may return void or null. Here I think I will mutate this to kind of allow to return mix, so I don't really care what the user returns because we don't care about the return type, okay? Gabriel Ribeiro is saying, hi Nuno, what's up from Brazil? Nice to see you, dude. I love Brazil and I hope to be there this year. Martin is saying, you created, or who created the beautiful README header? That was actually contribution from, you talking about this logo. I think this contribution came from Sven van der Gin, all right? This dude right here. So he's also the the person behind the Pack PHP logo, and he equally made a contribution to the Pokeyo project. So thank you so much, Sven, for this new logo, okay? Jinek, what's up? How you doing from India? Yeah, that's right. We are literally in the time zone of India. That's awesome. Ijuel is saying, I am streaming, or you are streaming every day this week. Yeah, this week I'm kind of on a streak already. I've streamed Monday, Wednesday, today as well. Oh, and Thursday as well. That's right. That's right. But also, how you doing? You love it? I love it too. I think it's a great logo. And actually, you know, we see the split here into this asynchronous API, which I think it's pretty cool. I think the logo is awesome. Chat, by the way, how the music is. Do you think the music is loud enough, or it could be a little bit more loud? Let me know, chat. Let me know. Martin is saying, nice, well done. I think it's pretty cool indeed, man. I love it. I love it. Okay, so what do we have? Let's keep going and keep, you know, kind of tweaking this pull request a little bit, all right? So our four files changed. Yeah, one question I immediately have is, if this then is resolved within the child process or resolved within the parent process, I think this should be an asynchronous function as well. But I kind of wanted to reuse the child process and not exactly call this then on the parent process. So we may have to literally send all this thens and all this catches and all these finalies directly to the asynchronous runtime. I do have to check this. So the logo was actually a contribution, so that's right. Chak from TikTok is saying, nice to see you. Thank you for all the artwork on the PHP ecosystem. Thank you so much for saying that. It means a lot, dude. Thank you so much. Ibrajili is asking, hi Nuno, do you like backend or frontend more? I prefer backend. I don't know what you think, chat. By the way, chat, write on the chat if you prefer backend or frontend developer. I honestly love to be on the backend only, and I just do frontend if I really have to. Otherwise, I wouldn't do at all. Lee Strateg is asking the following. What's up, Nuno? He's asking how exactly do I contribute or build open source projects? Dude, I don't know the answer to that. Let's take the example of Pokeyo, okay? So I literally need an asynchronous library that fits the needs I have on past PHP 4. And those needs are kind of specific. I need literally a synchronous library that works on Windows, but also works on Mac, and also works on Linux. But I also want something simple, something that fits all of my existing code. So I kind of build all of that code as a separate package. So I had this need, I made it as a separate package, and then I just wrote the documentation, and, you know, an open source project was built out of it. That's it. Regarding the question of the backend or frontend, Milson is saying that he prefers the backend, and Ijoel is saying that he prefers the backend as well, because all the frontend people are like wizards. Dude, I feel the same. Today I was making a question to Jason Bags, which is a developer at Laravel, and the guy was like, oh, just add this overflow Eden to the parent div and that's it. I was like, I have no idea how that exactly does and how exactly that solves the problem, but that's it. Tony is asking, there is a reason why I cannot rewind the stream. Yes, there is actually. Sometimes I may leak stuff, or I may leak important information, and I may have to cut that out of the video. So I kind of, I don't allow people to rewind the video during the live stream. So it gives me some time to the end of the stream so I can actually go there and cut some seconds if I have to. That actually happened twice in the past. Ibdjel is saying from TikTok that he prefers backend. Me too, Dad. Me too, dude. Murat is saying, oh my god, I'm so low in artistic level to be a front-end developer. Me too, man. And, oh, we got 100 GitHub stars? That's awesome. Here we go, chat. 100 GitHub stars on Pokeyo. That's actually very good news. Thank you so much for your support. You are absolutely awesome. Alright, chat. I think I will basically merge this and then work a little bit locally on this pull request. So something I do when I have a pull request like this is that I like to merge this pull request on a branch of mine, so then I can rework a little bit and then merge to the original or to the main one, okay? Murad, thank you so much for the tier 1 subscription for 6 months in advance. Are you serious, dude? Thank you so much for your support. You are absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for, taking care of my work here on Twitch. So let's move here and let's basically create a new branch. As you may know, you might use Git to create a new branch and to version your project. Something I'm going to do is type git checkout-b, which means create a new branch. And then I'm going to call this feat, then finally, and catch. Okay. Now that I have this branch, I'm going to type git push to push the code to GitHub. And then because this branch is empty, I will just provide this git push origin so I can literally push an empty branch to Git. And hopefully once I do this, I can now refresh this page and this branch will appear on this list right here. And I can select then finally and catch. So this pull request is now targeting this new branch, okay? And I'm gonna literally accept this and rework a little bit this pull request locally. Constantine, thank you so much for this. And I'm gonna rework a little bit this pull request locally, if you don't mind. And I do think Constantine have equally this pull request, which was kind of the original version. And I think I'm going to close this because we don't need this anymore. Comes from the same contributor. It's kind of a simpler version of the other pull request. So we can move here. And now we can type git pull to pull all of the changes we just have merged. Okay? All right. So hopefully I can already do something like this. Let's type here git turn 1. And then this will have 1, so I can type something like task 1 was completed with result like this. And hopefully here we are going to see 1, okay? Hopefully. Let's see. Let's go here and type php example.php. A Laravel Cloud, we use the default structure of Laravel, so I'm actually very into simple approaches when developing projects. So Laravel Cloud follows the Laravel structure you would expect on any Laravel project. So there is no actually any magic whatsoever over there, okay? Psycho is asking, hi Nunu, have you ever found yourself not being satisfied with your code? Do you have any advice for those who get stuck in loops or keep refactoring? Dude, that's actually a problem that everyone faces, like literally. If you get stuck on refactoring the same code over and over again, just stop doing that, okay? Typically, developers may think that they have to prepare the code for the end of the world. So they think they can predict the future, they keep refactoring the same code over and over again, when in fact, you cannot actually predict the future. So my advice to you is keep the code as simple as possible because you cannot predict the future. So keep it simple, and honestly, your future self will say thank you. All right? Will say thank you. Mike is asking, is it possible to change vents? That's actually a very good question. Let's try it out. I think it is possible, but let's do it. So let's, for example, do something like result equals to +1 and return that same result. And hopefully here we are going to get that same result right there with the value 2. So if I type this, I should see task 1 completed with 1 and task 1 completed with 2. Really just works, okay? Now, a problem that I do have with this is that I do think these thens are being executed on the parent process, which is a problem, okay, chat? Which is a problem. So I'm going to show you. Let's, for example, go here and type something like echo executing task 1, then 1, and let's sleep for 2 seconds, okay? Like that, easy peasy. And let's exactly sleep here just below. Let's equally execute another then, but equally sleeps for 2 seconds. Okay, chat? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So here I would expect all this stuff to take only 2 seconds and not 4, but let's see how it goes, okay? Here I can simplify this a little bit using short closures in PHP. You guys know you can use modern PHP like that. Okay. Let's actually keep this even more simpler. All right, so I'm gonna do this as well. Task 2, then 1. Sleep for 2 seconds as well. And let's see the result here. Okay. Again, we have 2 asynchronous functions. Let's think a little bit. 2 asynchronous functions, and both have a then callback. That then callback sleeps for 2 seconds here, but equally sleeps for 2 seconds here. I would expect all of this to take 2 seconds. If it takes 4, that means that the then callback is executed on the parent process, which is exactly what I don't want. So we are going to address this right away, okay? Yes, this works when you return a promise within the promise, indeed. Psycho is saying, let's say I have always the fear of others' judgment. This leads me to continuous refactor. Dude, I feel you, man. I totally feel you, and I do feel that that's something you need to work on a little bit. You know what I mean? In terms of other people judging your code. Honestly, people shouldn't judge your code to begin with. Okay, that's a problem in their side already, because typically, as a software engineer, you want to be kind to other people. Even if you think the code is not perfect, you can give your opinion as, another way of doing things. You don't have to be mean to other people as a software engineer. So, my advice to you is that every time you code something, just try to keep it as simple as possible, because again, you cannot predict the future, all right, Psycho? Mateus Live is saying the following. Speaking of short closures, why did they reject an RFC that enables multi-line closures? The reasoning back then was multi-line short closures, RFC needs to have some real-world examples of why that will be useful for PHP developers. I think is undeniably easy to understand why multi-line short closures are useful. I'm going to give an example. I would immediately use multi-line short closures here if I could. But, for other developers, and I need to respect their opinion, they do think that it's not useful. But that's it. Psycho, you're welcome, man. You are awesome as well, all right? All right, let's move forward. So here we want to achieve 2 seconds, okay? Let's jump into the code and see how can we do this, all right? So let's jump into potentially the promise level. Ooh. Right. Okay, so one of the problems we may face on this situation is that the run is something that gets called immediately when I call the async. Here we go. So it's probably too late to send the then callbacks to the child process. Something we can do is, and I think it will work, is that we could potentially just async await this situation. But do I want to do that though? Mutsi, thank you so much for the subscription. Tier 1, man. I really appreciate your support. You are absolutely awesome. Thank you, thank you. Perhaps Async then. The thing is that, wouldn't you expect, like, let's go here, chat. Let's go here to the example.php. Right on the chat. How much time do you think that these two tasks should take? Do you think it should take 2 seconds or 4? I would expect that this then callback, just like this then callback, both will be executed in parallel as well. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I would expect, but also what I want for past PHP. 2 seconds, right? Adrian is saying 4. Why are you saying 4, Adrian? I'm curious about that. So my original idea was, I want to send this then callback to the child process. Adrian, I know that then means after, but I can literally send this then to the child process as well. So when it ends computing the asynchronous function, like when it ends computing this, it will execute it then automatically, don't you think? For me, it's obvious, chat. But if you guys are saying that it should take 4 seconds, I may be confused here. So just let's clarify here this, chat, a little bit, all right? So typically, the asynchronous function should be this one, right? This is the asynchronous function. However, I do want to execute something with the result of the asynchronous function. And what I'm trying to tell you guys is that I think this then callback should be sent to the child process so it gets executed by the child process as well. So we actually have equally parallelization on this then callbacks, okay? That's what I would expect, chat, but yeah, let's take the example of JavaScript. Let's go here, for example, into let's open something like JavaScript Playground. Let's go here, for example. Can I code here? Oh my god, I will probably have to. Oh, I don't. All right, let's go here. So if I do this, let's actually do this on PHP Storm. I may be able to run Node, right? Do I have Node? I have Node. Nice. Let's type here example.js, for example. Can I do something like... Can I even do const a? I don't know. Can I use promises on Node? I don't even know. Jesus Christ. Can I do this? Let's see. It doesn't work. Oh my god. Let me think. Let me go here. Can I run this? Oh, it does work. Nice. Okay. Oh my god. This autocomplete sucks so bad. Okay. So my question to you is more about this. We don't need this. Still compiles? It does. Nice. Okay. Does it compile? Hopefully it does. Yep. Can I actually do some sort of I don't need this. I don't need this. This will be task 1, for example, and this will be task 1 then. I'm going to call this just A. I'm going to call this just below. This will be B. This will be task 2 and task 2 then. Okay, Shab? All right, so picture yourself as being on JavaScript, okay? So on JavaScript, if you were to have a sleep of 2 seconds here, and a sleep of 2 seconds here, and you were to execute this 2, how much time would you expect to see here? 2 seconds or 4 seconds? 4 seconds? It's kind of insane. Serious, Adrian? Ben Antun is saying, I would expect to see 2 seconds here. So why is it different? That's the question. It's no. On my example, on my PHP example, the sleep was equally on the then. So if I go here to example PHP, the sleep is equally on the then of the task 1, and the sleep is equally on the then of the task 2. So why is it different? So I'm going to tell you, what do I want for past 4? I think I want that everything or any closure that gets sent to or gets chained on anything asynchronous gets executed in parallel. So on past 4, if I were to use this API, I want to see 2 seconds. Okay, chat? And again, even if you think it doesn't make sense when compared with other libraries, that's what I would expect, okay? Just a dev, exactly. So by the way, here, for example, this is how I would call this, by the way, okay? This is how I would call this. Okay? You would just basically provide A and B to promise all, which is exactly what we are doing here. We are awaiting both promises as well. So I think, chat, what we are going to do is making this asynchronous as well. Okay, by default. So everything passed or provided to async will be asynchronous, but all the then callbacks are going to be asynchronous as well. Potentially, the catch might be asynchronous or not. I'm not sure about that. But the then, I absolutely want the then to be asynchronous, okay? Alizi is asking, don't you think it will maximize the system memory usage? Can you elaborate, dude? Demon is saying that if I would want the then to be asynchronous, I would return an asynchronous function. So this is what you would do. You would basically just call async with a function like this again. This is what you would do. I don't know, man. I don't understand like why we don't simply do it asynchronous by default. You know, like, why do I have to chain my then? I mean, technically we could do this, right? Just provide an API. I don't know, man. What do you guys think? We need to make a decision, chat. DMN is saying yes because it's how the web works. Okay, chat. I think I'm gonna delay this decision because you guys seem confused, and honestly, I'm becoming confused as well. Jesus Christ. So I think, you know, the current API works, and I'm gonna probably leave it as it is. It's not blocking for past because I can indeed just use that async function and kind of not rely on the then. But yeah. DMN is saying then async is damn good. You think? Then async. Let me see. But that is kind of an equivalent of that. Like if I were to JavaScript, do I see that? I don't even see that. Like it doesn't even exist. I don't know, man. Let me try something. Let me see how difficult it would be to actually make the code I want. Let me try something real quick, chat. All right, if I were to do the then asynchronous, what I would do is that, first of all, I cannot dispatch this immediately, so I have to go to promise and kind of do it on a destructor. So this would be this run. The thing is that, now that I'm thinking, do I want to do this on a destructor as well? But Potato is saying use the async on the function callback. No, definitely I don't want to do that. I could do that. That would be sexy though, right? You mean this? I could have done that. The thing is that something I want to avoid is spawning a new process right here. You know what I mean? Because this will spawn a new process. And my original idea is that just send the then to the child process alongside this one, so I don't have to spawn a new one. You know what I mean? Okay, let me go with my original idea, and you guys will see if it makes sense, okay? All right, I'm gonna have this destruct, which we'll call this the run, okay? So runs when the object is destroyed. Okay, so now the async function will no longer call this run, and the promise will be returned. And on the promise, every time I have a then, yep. Every time I'm going to have a then, what I will do is the following. This callback will be equal to the then callback, which is a result of the original callback. Do I want to do this? Maybe. Let me see. And now, David, thank you so much for the subscription through Prime 6 months already. Dude, you are absolutely awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The use case of sending the thens to the child process is avoiding the need of spawning a new one. You know what I mean? That's the use case. Yes, you can use Pokeyo now, just don't use it in production. What I'm even doing? Okay, so the callback will be the result of the then. Exactly, will be another function, exactly. Another function that will be then, and then this callback. Here we go. And I don't think we need this anymore. This can no longer be read-only. I'm gonna make the font a little bit smaller. Like 23 potentially, 20, maybe. The then, exactly, the return type will be equals to the then with the result of the original callback. I may have to do this. Here we go. And hopefully this will just work. Let's see. And of course not. Holy shit. That's a big one. Result must not be accessed before the initialization in promise 62. Oh, here we make sure it's we need to run it, all right? So hopefully we don't even need this. What the actual fuck? Hi, João. I'm literally I took a master in computer science, so I did a degree in computer science, and then I shift. I didn't shift. I literally did a master in computer science. That's it. Gabriel Rivera is asking, where do you get so much inspiration to create many packages? Again, every time I need to, you know, every time I need something, and right now I do need an asynchronous library for pest4, I just make it as a package, and that's it. Okay, chat. I think I'm gonna literally delay this development for later. But yeah, my original idea is literally send the then to the child process, so we don't have to spawn a new one, or block the main parent process. Okay, so I'm gonna delay this, but this is something I eventually want to crack. Okay. Okay. Anyway, is the test suite happy? It should be. Here we go. And as a reminder, we do have a full test suite on this project. And if you haven't seen PHP in the last couple of years, we actually have made huge improvements on the language itself. You can now count with modern tooling things like styling, things like type coverage, things like linting, things like parallel testing with coverage, for example, PHP stand, which is the equivalent of TypeScript. So we do have everything you would expect from a modern language, okay? So in Laravel, you can actually use the concurrency facade, which doesn't work for me on Pest. I did try to vibe coding the package, and it doesn't work. João, thank you so much for following me on TikTok, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, chat. Let's literally delete this example. Go back here. So we have a then, we have a catch, and hopefully we have a finally as well, right? So the finally, I would expect that if I would come here and throw a new exception, for example, let's clean this a little bit, and clean this, and just wait for the task number 1. If I have an exception without a catch, I would expect this to throw the exception, just like JavaScript will bubble up, basically. So here we have an uncaught error on the line 10. If I do runtime exception, for example, runtime exception, exactly, and if I do invalid argument exception, oh my god, what is the PHP original one? What the actual fuck? Here we go. Exactly, just bubbles up. However, if I have the catch with throwable, I can DD the exception. Perfect. And I can not handle the exception. So this will basically, hopefully, just not bubble up. Exactly. I can rethrow the exception. Exactly, just works. What else do I want to do? I want to make sure that this equally works if I try, for example, if I type here, like, runtime exception, and then I type here invalid argument exception, what happens? Ooh, this is a problem, chat. This is a problem. So apparently this catch is being called even if the type doesn't match, which is a problem. Okay. All right, chat. What do you think should happen here, chat? Should we bubble up the runtime exception because it doesn't match the typed argument? Do you think that the user needs to literally type throwable, for example, and then do a match statement? What do you think? Pablo is saying, doing my final degree project with Laravel, I'm so scared to get into all these tools such as Refactoring, PHP stand, etc. Since I know nothing about that. By the way, I do think that PHP stand, Refactoring, and Pint, they are already a little bit advanced tooling for PHP. Okay, so it's not something you need to master immediately since day one. So something you can do is just not worry about that. Maybe learn a little bit about unit testing, and then when we find the time, just learn a little bit about Refactoring, PHP stand, but you don't have to do it right now, okay? Charlie French Boy, what's up? Nice to see you, dude. Gukan is saying, Nuno, 10K steps here. I love you. That's awesome, dude. I went to the gym 3 times already this week, and I'm going to the gym tomorrow again. Guys, don't forget, as a software engineers, it's super easy to get stuck in your chair all day. So make sure you do your steps, make sure you go to the gym, you do sports, and most importantly, you drink water all day. Adrian is saying, may I suggest something? Of course, dude, you can suggest everything you want. Bird Potato is saying the following regarding the catch. It would make sense for it to only catch when the type matches. I do agree with you. Adrian, I'm going to write the test at the end because I'm still kind of figuring it out a little bit how I want the API to be. But I'm going to, write tests for everything. I promise you that. Actually, you know what? Let me see something real quick. Yep, it doesn't yet have the catch. Oh, it does. Here we go. Yeah, I'm going to write the test at the end because I'm pretty sure I want to kind of every single edge scenario to be tested. And I kind of want to leave that to the end and do it offline. Okay? But undeniably here, something I would expect is I want this catch to behave a little bit like try catch would behave. So this catch will only catch effectively things I'm going to type in, things like argument exception. So here, for example, I would not expect this to throw an exception like, type error, for example. This is something I wouldn't expect at all. I believe I should bubble up the exception indeed. I agree with you, okay? So let's go here into potentially the promise PHP. And let's see what exactly do we use the catch statement, okay? So the catch statement is being used right here, okay? So when we catch an exception, which comes either from the child process or comes from our then callbacks, we do catch the given exception, okay? So something we can do is try to understand if there is any argument on a given catch, and for that we can use reflection. Reflection is a very powerful API in PHP, okay? So I'm going to ask literally my AI tooling to help me out, okay? So I'm going to type the following. Using reflection, check if there is any argument on the catch closure. If yes, then grab the type int and check if the exception is of that type. Be careful, because the user may be using union types too. Okay? So then we can have reflection equals to new reflection function, which will receive the given closure. And then we can do something like get parameters if blah blah blah. Count of parameters is bigger than 1, then we get the first one. What is here already? Let me see. Ooh, perfect. Exactly what I want. What happens if it's an union though? Let me go here and type, for example, logic exception. Oh, then we have this. Okay. So I want to match the type. If it's a null, it will indeed match the type, because meaning that the user doesn't provide any argument or any typed argument. So then I do call the catch. What is this built in though? Interesting. Types. Let me see if this works even. Can I do this? Let me see something real quick. Oh, Melloc, that's actually a good idea. What do you mean by convert to array, though? Maybe we are going to support promise reject. I'm not yet sure, though. Adrian is saying use the instance of. You mean here? What do you mean exactly? I don't think I care if it's built in. So if there is no type whatsoever, exactly. If type is instance of reflect name type. Okay, there is literally 3 things you can return. Exactly. Yep. Perfect. And now the union one. Okay, let's for example assume it's literally there. Reflection union type. We get all the types. We don't have this collect though. That was a good try though. Oh, interesting. That's why he was saying literally convert to array. Interesting. That's actually a good idea. Let's do that. So types is an array. If we have more than one argument, then if the type is literally an instance of reflection union type, exactly that. And then here we can literally say that it matches the type if any of the types enters on this. So if for each all the types as type, we move this all the way in, and if match the type, then we break. Exactly. So we no longer need this union, and it should be it, I think. And we don't even need this. Should be just this. Okay. In the matches type though, yep. this will be either we don't have types at all, so this would be if count of these types is equals to 0, or it does match the type, then we call the catch. Bam, bam, boom! This should be good, chat. Alright, let's see. So in this case, I do want this to be called because there is a runtime exception. If I do this, it shouldn't call that exactly. If I do this, it should call that. Ooh, that was close. Get name on null, because there is no type. Isn't the ref filter like immediately remove nulls? I think it will. There we go. So this should work. This should equally DD. This should not DD. Here we go. However, this should DD. Not good, not good. Haha. Doop. Doop. All right, chat. I think I got it. Here we go. Woof. Hey, Butalin, what's up, dude? Nice to see you. I'm literally coding my own asynchronous library for PHP, and now I'm kind of diving in some of the internals and make the internals work. That's what am I doing. GMG is saying the following. Nuno, I created an AI agent for Laravel and Python and created a video for it. If you can give a reaction, will be great to support my work. Here we go, Shad. Make sure you watch his video about creating an AI agent. I'm going to copy the link and post for everyone can see. Here we go. Hi, Sven. Sven van Igen, which is literally the creator of the logo of this project, man. I really appreciate your work. You know, your logo is absolutely awesome, by the way. Okay? Your logo is absolutely awesome. I really appreciate, man. Thank you, thank you. Anna's Wutlin is saying, that's interesting. Thank you, thank you. Xnix is asking if on big projects, I do tend to go to 100% coverage. Yes. On Laravel Cloud, we have 99.3% code coverage with very little to none code coverage ignore. So 99.3% on Laravel Cloud, which is a web project which is already massive. Nuno reacts on subreddit. I literally have on my Discord channel a room just for reacts. So you can go there and just publish your YouTube video, and hopefully when I find the time, I will literally just react to that video, okay? Restart 93 is saying, do you think real apps should use custom notifications table instead of Laravel default? I don't think that's a good idea. You can just use a Laravel notification system. It really just works. Miguel is asking if this is IntelliJ. Yes. So this is literally JetBrains, this editor, PHP Storm, which I think is probably the best editor for PHP development, but also for other ecosystems as well. Which editor do you guys use these days? I know it's been like a mess regarding vibe coding, regarding agents, regarding all these new editors coming to the scene. I'm still using PHP Storm, and I think like the Juni really brings what I was missing when I was kind of pivoting a little bit to Cursor or Windsurf. And with Juni, I have literally everything I want in PHP Storm. Really just works. What you guys are using at the moment? VS Code, Cursor, PHP Storm, or something else? Adrian is saying, I'm using PHP Storm Laravel plus Laravel IDEA. Yeah, it's exactly what I use as well. I love that combo. Ilmaz is asking if Juni is paid. I think it's paid, yeah. I think. GMG is saying, I love the Z editor, and I shot a video about that as well. I haven't used Z yet. Nitra is saying, I love VS Code with GitHub Copilot. First time chat. If you don't know me, my name is Nuno Maduro, PHP and Laravel developer. I love what I do, and coding, live streaming, pretty much 3 times a week. I don't think Juni outputs bad code, at least for me. Don't remember that you need to literally use the .juni file. Don't forget that. You literally can use and should use the .juni file, okay? So if I go here into my vest kits, that's actually a good thing. Let's go here and copy our .juni file as well. Yeah, here we go. So don't forget that you must have this .juni/codingstandards.md where you need to have and be explicit about your vibe coding rules, okay? Don't forget about this. Dan Anonymous is saying he uses Cursor plus PHP Storm. Why would you use both, though? Isn't one enough? Vitrex first time chat is saying the following. I'm using PHP Storm and my trial for JetBrains AI is over. Now I'm confused what Juni is. Juni is an agent, an AI agent, which is much different from the AI window they had before. So with Juni, not only you can make questions, but you can also ask Juni to literally code the project for you, so you don't have to do it. Okay? Which is 1,000 times better. It's literally a new plugin, but again, one thing is the AI assistant, another thing is an AI agent. So again, an AI assistant will answer you to prompts and things like that. An AI agent will code for you, in fact, like run commands on the terminal and things like that. GMG, I'm not doing React today, dude. I apologize. But again, if you go to Discord, you have literally a channel where you can post your video, and once I have the time, I will do it. Juni is not downing software developers' quality, by the way, but it's here to help us out. Past is using behind the scenes for parallel testing something called paratest, which is already using subprocesses. However, there is many features like type coverage or architectural testing and more that are still relying on synchronous code. So I want those features to use things like Pokeyo. Yeah, paratest is exactly what I'm doing as well with past. So with past, it really just works by default. You just come here and you type, past parallel. So this will run the test suite in parallel. That's it. Okay. Oh yeah, PHP Storm is refactoring is amazing. I agree. Oh, my voice today, Jesus. By the way, chat, if you don't know me, my name is Nuno Maduro, PHP and Laravel developer. You can follow me on my YouTube channel, pretty much publishing videos every now and then. If you enjoy my content, give me a follow there. We are already with 16K subscribers on YouTube, and I'm publishing videos when I can. If you enjoy content around coding, but also, all the cool things in between, you can go to my YouTube channel. Cool stuff there all the time. I haven't... Tendency for Laravel, I haven't tried that, no. Why isn't parallel the default option? Because not all projects are ready to be run in parallel, you know? Like, realistically, PHP projects, they typically involve more than a to-do list. I know, you know. When you come from the JavaScript ecosystem, you might think that you don't think this way, but in reality, Laravel projects, all of them have a database, all of them have like a cache, all of them have multiple resources, and typically running tests in parallel might be tricky when it involves resources. That being said, we cannot just assume that parallel will just work for everything, you know? Deadlock is one type of problems that you may face, but you might face other things, you know? Restart 99 is saying the following. Do you want to say something to all cats that are using PHP Unit? Not really. PHP Unit is awesome. As long as you are testing your applications, you can use anything you want, dude. As long as you are testing your applications. Isnix86 is saying the following. Tendency for Laravel is nice, but isn't great for the new version of Laravel. Interesting. I haven't used that project yet, or package. Hawk is saying the following. I prefer how readable a test looks like in past. It reads like a sentence. That's right. One of the points in favor of past is really how simple it is. Something I do feel, though, about past is that people, when they talk about past, especially the people who haven't tried it yet, they tend to forget a little bit that past is way more than just an API. Okay, so with past, you have things that you may not find in other frameworks, like mutation testing, architectural testing, snapshot testing, team management, type coverage, dataset. Like, there is so many little things that we have built into past, and you won't find them like literally on any framework in the planet. Some of them, at least. As this complete. Stress testing even. I was looking at an article today that someone, it was kind of pitching a little bit key 6, and we have key 6 built in into past. So you just have to type vendor bin past stressed and then provide the domain. It will literally stress test the domain. You can provide options and you can literally put this into a test. So basically you don't see performance being down over time. But yeah. Nicely Done is asking if PHP is the new Java. I don't know, man. I don't know. GMG is saying, what is the Discord link? Here we go, man. This is the Discord link. All right, chat. So we had that then situation to check. I kind of want to check all of the code to see if I'm happy with everything. Okay. Let's go here. So we have a contract called it result. So basically, let me just recap this a little bit. So Pokeyo is an asynchronous runtime. That asynchronous runtime supports multiple drivers. One of them is fork. The second one is sync. If I'm running past 4, it will try to default for fork. If fork doesn't exist, will default for sync. And this may happen on Windows environments. And we may be able to receive a different runtime in the future if we have to. If we have to. Someone today on GitHub issues was trying to pitch to me that you should use fibers. Okay? The thing is that when people say you should use fibers, I don't think people are actually realizing that fibers would require me to change the underlying code, which is not something I want to do. Okay? So that was my answer. Like, if someone is up to some sort of driver that is working with fibers, I am all right, as long it doesn't require to tweak the underlying code. This is something really important that I want for this asynchronous library, is that I don't want to change the code on past. I want to automatically just to be asynchronous just by using the async function. So, you know, that's why I'm using fork behind the scenes. Okay, so we have a fork runtime and a sync runtime. Okay, and we are already running the test suite against those two runtimes to make sure they work exactly the same way. So let's start with the contract. The contract for the runtime is that I may defer the given callback and I may provide a rescue. Why do I need to provide the rescue? I need to check this. Hawk is saying that fork is probably used somehow by fibers anyway. I don't think so, but it might be, I don't know. Restart 93 is saying PHP 8.4 is the old Java 6. I have no idea. There is something on the PHP world that I'm pretty sure Java doesn't have, which is Laravel. So just for that, I'm not trying Java anytime soon. Constantine is asking, share the link in YouTube as well, please. Oh, which link? You mean the Discord link? Here we go. Here we go. By the way, chat, I do have a bunch of socials in case you guys are up to different content. I'm also on TikTok, which I do share shorts all the time. I'm also on Instagram, which I share reels. So if you are up to or if you are into content which is different, I am literally in all platforms these days. The pipe operator is indeed coming to PHP, which is quite cool. Pipe operator PHP 8.5. Ooh, we do have a YouTube video. Do you have a small YouTube video though? We have this one.
Let's take a look at this one here. This is a blog post I wrote.
This is a big video. They do have like a small one though. Ooh, let's see this one real quick, chat.
This pipe operator syntax is
Can you guys hear the video correctly? Let me know.
This pipe operator syntax is horrendous and messy. Is there really no other way it can be done? I don't know. Why are people feeling so bad about the syntax? This is a thing. It's just something we're not used to. And with every change, I remember with enums, people said as well that, oh, the syntax is so ugly. And with attributes, oh, don't get me started about attributes. People...
Wait a second. So this is an array, and then I pipe. Oh my God, this is indeed confusing. Jesus Christ.
Like hated the syntax, and maybe there was something to say, but we've gotten used to it. Who cares? Who cares about the syntax? It's okay. The feature itself, regardless of the syntax.
Okay, so we have an array. That array will be piped. Oh, okay, got you. Okay, that array will be piped into this function as the variable input. So this input is equally, or is this empty array. And then I'm going to map that same input to return an empty string. So this will be literally an array, which I will pipe to this count, and the output will be 0, hopefully, because the array is empty to begin with. Jesus Christ.
Pipe operator syntax is horrendous and messy. Is there really no other way it can be done? I don't know. Why are people feeling so bad about the syntax? This is a thing. It's just something we're not used to. And with every change, I remember with enum.
Yeah, the feature is coming for PHP. Let me show you. So pipe operator PHP 8.5. We have this. Yeah, here we go. So typically, if you have something like an hello world, and you might want to provide that hello world, pipe basically that value on 3 functions, like function 3, and then pipe that result to function 2, and then pipe that result to function 1. This is how you would do it. Or you can use, temporary variables if you want to. And basically, to avoid this, what I think it's coming from PHP 8.5 is the pipe operator. So this code, as you can see here, will be transformed into this. What do you think, chat? Do you like this syntax better or not? Let's actually read all of this. I think would create a good segment. Okay, so the pipe operator is coming to PHP 8.5. Let's read this article and try to understand if this actually makes anything or something more simple. Let me see. So PHP 8.5 is set to introduce a new operator, call it the pipe operator, which looks like this. Okay, looks like this, chat. And then the pipe operator allows you to pass the result of one expression as an argument to another expression, making your code cleaner and more readable. So today, he is talking literally about PHP 8.4, the current version. If you want to pass a result of one function to another, you have to do like this. So basically, I have a value which contains hello world, and I want to provide that value to the function 3, and then I want to provide that result to the function 2, and then I would provide that result to the function 1 to have a final result. Okay, so obviously this is hard to read immediately. I would use temporary variables, which I think is what's happening just below. This can quickly become hard to read, especially with multiple nested functions, indeed. Or you can simplify this code and you can use variables to store the intermediary results like so. Value equals to hello world, and then I have result 1, which is the result of the function 3, and then I will pipe that same result 1 to the function number 2, and finally I will pipe the result of the function 2 to the function number 1 to have the final result. And is following this with, this is still not elegant. I personally think that this is actually okay, but let's see what the new pipe operator is actually bringing, okay? So this is actually not elegant and it can make your code cluttered and hard to follow it. So for PHP 8.5, they are introducing the pipe operator. Let's go all the way down and understand this. PHP 8.5 will introduce the pipe operator, which looks like this, which will allow you to write code in a point-free style that limits the use of unnecessary intermediary variables. So the code above, which looked like this, will now look or can be rewritten like so. So let's try to understand this. The value is equally hello world, and we are literally piping that value to the function 3, and then piping that same result to the function 2, and then piping to the function 1 the result of function 2. Chat, this is undeniably more simple to read. What do you think, chat? I personally think this is much nicer than this, for sure, and way much nicer than this, for sure. What do you think, chat? I think this is actually a good addition to PHP. Although with Laravel collections and everything that Laravel collections offers, I don't see a lot. I don't see myself a lot using the pipe operator because I typically don't have to chain functions like so. But what do you think? Murai is saying, I do hate this example. They should show something real. I do agree with you. By the way, this is not an official PHP website. It's literally the first article I found on the internet. Okay. Flor is asking, what is the use case of this? Again, is literally the fact that you might want to pipe a value between multiple functions. It's the same use case you would find with Laravel pipeline. Okay. It's readable, but I think you can change the operator to be more pretty. Which operator would you use though? As you can tell, the pipe operator, or just pipe, accepts a single argument callable on the right and passes to the left side the value of it. Right. So accepts a single parameter callable, which is this one, and passes to the left side the value of it. Interesting. Evaluating this way, the callable is result. The pipe evaluates left to right by passing the value or expression result on the left as the first and only parameter to the callable on the right. This is so confusing to read. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's go all the way down and see a real world example. Chat, we do have a real world example. So here is a real world example from the RFC that shows how can you use the pipe operator to transform a string into snake case. So this is something that actually, I may actually do this, okay? Literally create a slug out of a name. I literally have this need all the time. I'm gonna be honest with you, to create a slug, I would just use the Laravel slug helper. Okay. However, to something like Pokeyo or something that I need to develop as a native library which doesn't have any dependencies, I would actually rely on PHP functions. Okay, chat? I would actually rely on PHP functions. So let's see this example. We have the full name, which is Fred Flintstone, and we are going to pipe that full name to the function explode. Okay, so the full name, the full name will be piped to this short closure. Yeah, let me recap this. Okay, so we have the full name, which is Fred Flintstone, and we are going to pipe that same full name to this closure. The closure accepts only one argument, which is the full name. If I want to pipe the full name to the given closure, I need to literally provide the closure with just one argument, which is the case. Okay? So then I'm going to give that full name to the function explode and kind of explode that into an array separated by an empty space. So once I do that, I will end up with an array of words. I will actually end up with an array with the first element being Fred, the second one being Flintstone. And then I'm going to chain that same array into this another short closure. Okay, so at this point here, I have an array. This array, I will implode that same array into a string separated by this small underscore. So I will join this, okay? And finally, at this point here, the result should be a regular string separated by this underscore. And the last thing I will do is string lower that same string. So we are going to pipe that value as a first argument to string to lower, and this will lowercase everything. What do you think, chat? I think this is one of those syntax that we may find this ugly, we may find this confusing, however, will be a little bit like the match statement, a little bit like the name it arguments. It gets confusing on the first look, but then it will become simpler. I can promise you that. So I know you guys are looking into this, and the first thing you guys think, this is worse, this is more confusing, I don't get shit about this. This is your first reaction. But I can tell you as well that typically we also think that when we see other features in PHP. Do you guys remember? The match statement looked ugly. Enums looked ugly. Attributes looked ugly. And now we love all of this syntax. So I think with the pipe operator, it might be like that for some of you. But over time, people are going to love this. Okay? Ooh. Interesting. Let me see if I have another cool stuff here. Oh, interesting. That's a good one. The selection of the pipe operator's syntax. So apparently on this small section, we are going to see why people came up with this syntax, or at least with this set of characters for the pipe operator. It looks like PHP is inspired by F# programming language and the Elixir programming language when it comes to the pipe operator. So some of you are asking if this stuff exists on other languages, and apparently it does. The pipe operator is used in both languages to pass the result of one function to another function in the same way as it is in PHP. In its current form, you might find the pipe operator a little bit weird indeed, but fonts like JetBrains Mono with ligatures can make the pipe operator pleasing to look at. Well, undeniably, this small triangle here make this a little bit nicer indeed. So I do think this example as well could be way more simplified if he had used the triple points here to simplify this example, but not bad. In conclusion, although the RFC for the pipe operator is still under voting phase, at the time of writing this article is expected to be accepted. Ooh, we do have the link to the RFC. So the author apparently is Larry Garfield, which is the author of many PHP RFCs, including I have worked with Larry for the RFC that adds multi-line short closures that end up being rejected, okay? And we do see a few more examples of this pipe operator. Let's see the votes, though. I'm going to go all the way down. By the way, chat, every time you see a PHP RFC, it will look like this, okay? So all the way up, you have the proposal, blah, 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 and then you scroll all the way down to see the actual result of people. Ooh, there is a few no's, actually. So there is 37 votes, and 7 people voted no. And we do need 2 out of 3 to actually have this pipe operator to pass. Okay? Do you want the link? Here we go, chat. I'm going to give you a link. Yeah, it's good so far, but I think there is more people to vote. So, of course. Canada is asking, can I vote too? I don't think you can, dude. It's literally just people from the internals team. Honestly, I think this is a very good addition in general. I don't see anything that as a red flag. Looks a good feature, honestly. If it just works, I think it's a great feature. Okay. All right, dudes. This is the pipe operator. Great addition to PHP 8.5. We do have a new pull request. Adds promise all, any, or race. You made it static. That's exactly what I wanted. Oh my god, this is actually a good addition. I will review this, and I'm gonna probably not merge this today. Although, it does make sense. It does make sense, okay? I would have to check if we actually want an asynchronous here. Because I feel like the all, for example, is exactly what we have today with 008, So I need to check if I actually want to make this library more complicated than it needs to be, especially for past4. But I promise you, I will review this once I find the time. Okay, chat? All right, so the next step of this project is indeed adding this into some tiny bits of past 4 and see how it goes. This will be my next step. I'm gonna probably do this, during the weekend. Although I think we can probably make a video about this package during the weekend as well. Would you vote yes, Nuno, on the pipe operator? Oh, yes, I would. I mean, why not? It makes totally sense. Xnix86 is asking if we are going to see a Pokeyo PHP Pokeyo. Dude, I asked people what do they think about, making this project a little bit more serious and moving it to its own organization. What do you think personally, chat? Would you prefer to have Pokeyo PHP Pokeyo, or you think this project is small enough to literally just have Nuno Maduro Pokeyo? Not past PHP, literally Pokeyo PHP, a little bit different. Oh my god. Everyone is like mixed opinions. But it seems that most of you guys are kind of into Nuno Maduro Pokeyo, at least. What means Pokeyo? Pokeyo means nothing, really, but comes from Tokyo, okay? So on Rust, there is this asynchronous runtime called Tokyo. So I just replaced the T with a P for PHP, and that's it. That's how I got the name. Nuno Nation, that would be a good one. It's so funny. Sven is saying, I think you should use Nuno Maduro Pokeyo because your name brings trust. Dude, that's actually the reason why I think we should use Pokeyo PHP, because it's more trustworthy, as it looks like a serious team behind it. You know what I mean? Adolfo on TikTok is saying people is moving forward, but you guys are stuck with PHP. I'm gonna be stuck with PHP until I have 100. I will be very old, still doing PHP and still making more money than you. I shouldn't have it say that. Jesus Christ. Roberto is saying, hi Nuno, great to see your weak streak. Thank you, man. It's because of you guys. I love to be here with you all. Dudes, that is actually something about PHP, which is, I do know for a fact that PHP is very modern, because I have done modern Rust, I have done modern Python, I have done modern Ruby, I have pretty much worked with all languages you can think of. And when I jump or when I come back to PHP, I'm missing nothing, literally nothing. Adrian, thank you so much for how many? Jesus Christ. 5 tier 1 subs to the Nuno Nation community. Dude, I really appreciate your support. You are absolutely awesome for supporting my work since day one, Adrian. Thank you so much. Arthur is asking if I'm going to do a React live stream. My idea is actually doing a React live stream. So I talked with Jeffrey Way from Laracasts. And he told me that, this is not the one though. I think this is the one. Yeah. He told me that I'm allowed to literally use this, Laracast series here on the channel And potentially what we can do is do this from scratch. Okay? My time though until Laracon US will be very limited. So you guys are going to see me bringing a lot of content that will involve me having to, actual code, because I need to move fast to have past 4 ready. So I may actually not do this before Laracon US, but let's see how it goes. Ishmael is asking, how long are you going to support it? You mean Pokeyo? Forever, I think. Richard is saying the following. Once again, do not ignore my suggestions. I'm really struggling to become good with Vue. What do you mean exactly? I don't use VS Code. I think for PHP development at least, PHP Storm is the best. Hey John, how you doing? Isnix is saying Nuno is making packages just like Spassy. Spassy, they are more than me though. They are an entire company. So yeah, my goal is bringing past 4 for Laracon US, and I do need to actually get some stuff done. So we have some work in progress already, but there is so much to do, man. So I will have to work during the weekends for sure. Charkin is saying, Nuno Nation represent. How you doing, my brother? I'm doing fantastic, man. I do think the community is missing a very good package, CEO package for inertia. So that's actually a very good idea if you want to do that. Although, chat, do you guys think this looks like Nuno? Like, realistically, this image got 100% AI improved. You know what I mean? Because do I look like this, chat? Just be honest. Say yes if I look like this. Say no if I don't. Because I don't think I look like this, but I don't even know. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh, do you like this image? Oh my God, I'm so confused. Almost. Not really. I also don't think I look like that, but 50-50. Do you guys know that movie where two people are literally, that is like one guy driving within a war country or whatever, and the other dude is like, how safe is you driving during this place? And the guy answers, it's very safe. It's like 50-50. And the other dude says, what do you mean? Like 50-50 I die? 50-50 it's so funny. Yeah. Have you guys see that video? It's so hilarious. All safe. 50-50. It's so hilarious. This is the one, I think.
Quer saber quanto vale o seu carro? De forma...
Oh my God. Can I make it big? Yeah, I think this is the one. What the heck? Oh, here we go. This scene is so hilarious. Watch this, chat.
Hey, seriously, is this safe, driving to Baghdad?
Yes, very safe. 50-50.
50-50, what, like 50% we live, 50% we die?
Yes, that's why we drive through night. It's much safer.
How much safer?
50-50.
Bro, what the? Obviously, he doesn't know what 50-50 means.
It's hilarious. Oh my God. Yeah, much safer. 50-50. Yeah, I will take a look, GMG. I will take a look. Thank you. I look chubbier on the photo. Oh my god. All right, chat. I'm gonna actually go for a drink with my buddies. That's why I actually started a little bit early today. My plan is I do have to get this ready by tomorrow, so I actually do a video for my YouTube channel with this package, kind of announcing a little bit the package. And then I'm gonna actually try it out on Past 4. I cannot wait to have this on Past 4 to see how actually it is in terms of performance improvements. There is a few things I do need to test, like what happens if I send, you know, references on the uses of this callback to see how it goes. There's a few things I need to do, but you know, I think this will be probably the last stream of Pokeyo, okay? There was 3 live streams just about this package, so I want everyone clapping for a Pokeyo by the amazing content this package have bring to us. All right, let's clap for Pokeyo. Come on, chat. Let's clap for Pokeyo. $50-50 chances of asynchronous code. Thank you so much, chat. All right, man. I won't be streaming tomorrow because I'm gonna have dinner with some buddies once again. And you know what? I love you all, chat. And I catch you guys next time. Let's rate someone as usual. Let's go here and rate someone. Who do we have streaming today? Do we have any PHP developer or Laravel developer? That would be cool though, right? We have Primagen, of course, one of my favorite Laravel buddies. Let's rate Primagen, chat. All right, chat. I love you all. Have a very good weekend. You guys are absolutely awesome. Catch you guys next time. Peace out.